with a lot of aggression and motivation is the most beautiful part of the season. And today we started that part in a good way.
It's always nice if you have multiple players in different positions to score goals. That's what a team is about, I think. And it's really nice for us today, but next week will be others. And if we getting those goals from everywhere, it's hard to defend, obviously.
3 goals all came from corner kicks, 2 direct corner kicks and one where one of our corner kicks was chipped into the goalkeeper's hands and he started a very quick counter-attack. And at 3-0 down, you're obviously going to be really up against it.
Nicolas Shearer has played a big role in this, hasn't he? Did you work hard with him on the set pieces? He's your set piece man?
Yeah, we do, and it's a big part of us, and especially against teams that they want to defend extremely deeply. It's a good way to open the game up, and we've been really consistent the last few years on that, and it's a good way to win games as well.
The camera at the end caught you looking across to the supporters. You saw the banners that they raised. What did you think of that?
I think they're entitled to their opinion, really, and I think that they're frustrated, they're disappointed. We can only hope that we can do better and that we can provide them, if you like, with what they hope to see, i.e. a Crystal Palace team that wins more games and moves away from the relegation zone.
Yeah, frustrating day for Crystal Palace. We'll come on to that very shortly, Ashley, because I suppose when you look at it from an Arsenal perspective, there's been a lot of talk about them struggling in their attack, but one thing they are not struggling with this season is their set pieces.
Yep, they've been brilliant, and they've got Nicolas Shearer in there as a set-piece coach, and obviously he's planned certain things, and Crystal Palace just couldn't live with it today. I thought they was weak and woeful in defending corners. As we're going to see, this is the man that sets it up for them. They've obviously done some work on it. Now, this is Joachim Andersen. He's your most attacking player in your own box, and he's free to go and head balls. You've got Trossard, we've highlighted, Gabriel and Richards. We keep an eye on Trossard. He's now going to block Andersen from behind, which frees up a big space for Havertz coming in just in our picture, and Gabriel, if he can get free of Richards and the ball's where it's supposed to be, which it is from Rice, he's completely unmarked. We see it from a different angle here. If you just keep your eye on Trossard, it's really clever. Schlupp's marking him, and he blocks the back of Andersen, which nullifies him completely. Richards loses Gabriel. That's not a foul at all. He's just got up early. As you'd know, you get up early, the defender can't move, and it's a good goal. Here, if we keep an eye on Schlupp, he's obviously realised now Trossard is blocking Andersen, who's the free man. So maybe I can help him out and go and attack the first ball because Andersen can't. And on this occasion, he does. It hits his own man and they get a little bit lucky. Now, the corner's changed because we've highlighted Andersen, who's supposed to, again, go and attack the ball. This is a near-post cross. Trossard's blocking the front of Andersen. Havertz can nearly head it. He doesn't. Gabriel just messes up the header. But if we look where Andersen, he's not even in the middle of the pitch right now. His main concern is Trossard. Trossard is bothering him completely. Again, he's checking behind him instead of worrying about where the ball's going. We've highlighted Gabriel there. This time it's a carbon copy almost. Great delivery in. Andersen cannot go and attack that. It's down as a Henderson own goal, but it's a Gabriel free header a few yards out. But look how much that's your strongest header of the ball. And what he's worried about now is Trossard instead of going and attacking the first ball, because it's happened all game. And to be honest, Richard should do a little bit better because he's got to block Gabriel out of that zone. But fair play to Arsenal because they've planned corners really well today.
Just a quick one on that, Ashley, because if you know Arsenal is so dominant in set pieces, why is there so much chaos from the Crystal Palace team then?
The corners are great, so the blocking from Trossard's good, the run from Gabriel's good, and the corner itself is a good corner. But they're not that technical. There's not a lot going on there. So from Crystal Palace's point of view, it's disappointing that they weren't able to cope with it. And when you see the same thing happening again, sometimes on the pitch as a player, you've got to go and deal with that a lot better.
Yeah.
OK, well, bear with us on this because we've had a lot of time on our hands in between games. So we've all been playing a bit of detective. Ashley, if you want to talk us through what you think you've found.
Yeah, well, you know what it's like, Alex. There's always a trigger for what the movement's going to be. And we can see they're worked on whether it's a front post corner or a back post corner. If you keep an eye on Odegaard, we feel, maybe we've had too much time on our hands, but we feel that maybe he's signalling to the corner taker something. He's in the same place every corner and he's playing with his socks. So when we're looking for a trigger, it's because it's worked on. It's everybody, they're in synchronicity. They're either going to the front or the back. So every clip we see here is doing the same thing where he's playing with his socks. Might be coincidence, yes. This one's interesting because this is actually a front post corner, and he kind of does a different thing with his sock. So I understand we might be reaching for something that's not there, but it is a big coincidence if he's always there and he's always doing something with his sock. I think Nicholas Jover has said, yes, we have signals on which corner we're doing, so we have been trying to have a look. So he has alluded to it, somebody on the edge of the box, and we've
Maybe
seen
those socks
Odegaard.
are a bit too big for him.
Possibly, we don't know.
Alan thinks we're reaching. But Alan, was it too easy for Arsenal?
Yeah,
or just Crystal Palace were that poor?
Easy. I mean, Arsenal certainly had more energy. They were quicker and miles better than Palace in every department. This was a constant all afternoon. That was the system that played. 3 centre-halves, 5 at the back. But there was no pressure at any stage on the ball. It was like, Arsenal, how do you want to play? Do you play at your pace? Absolutely. Give you time on the ball to pick your head up and spray the ball around. And you can't do that in any game, let alone against Arsenal with so many good players in their team. Similar thing again. Look, there's the shape, and it's just one pass straight through the middle, straight through the midfield into Odegaard. Take your touch and turn, and then all of a sudden you're into that back 5, and you've got 5v5 there. Havertz then gets the ball, no one near him. Then the ball comes out again to Saka. No one gets the tackle in again. So I was thinking, come on, at least you've got to get stuck in a little bit. Ball from the keeper. And within 2 passes, again, no pressure on the ball, 2 passes, ball in behind, and you've got a goal-scoring opportunity, and perhaps should have done better in there. Watch Zinchenko here. Walk straight through the forwards, walk straight through the midfield, then into Jesus. No pressure again, no tackle again. No centre-half was willing to go in and put a strong challenge in, which is exactly what was needed. And they, as I said, they played at their pace. Same thing again, second half. Jesus again, watch Anderson. He's actually 5 yards off him then. You've got 3 centre-halves. One of them can afford to go tight and put a tackle in. Really good play from Arsenal. Most of the game, yes, they got the set pieces, but some really good football again throughout the game. But worrying times for him and worrying times for Crystal Palace. If you have a look at the situation that last season they were in, that was Roy's last 10 games when he was brought in to do the job that he did, and he did it really well. But look at it on the right-hand side this season. Every stat is down. Goals against, expected goals, shots faced, everything. You can see the reaction from their fans and the banners. So pretty worrying times for Crystal Palace. But what I would say is that Eze and Elise only started the 3 games together this season. They're big hitters. So that's one of the reasons why they're not doing. But I still think they'll have enough, but they've got to improve big time.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating week for Palace. Out of the FA Cup and a game to remember at the Emirates, to forget, I should say. Well, 2 games on Match of the Day tomorrow.
All good. I'll come to Dan from the Sun.
Mikel, when a team is struggling with confidence in front of goal, how important is it to work on set pieces and give them just, you need to be here, you need to be here, and let's see if we can score? How important is that?
It's very important. The reality that we train set pieces less in the last week than other aspects of the game. This is the beauty of it. But we work a lot of things that actually they happened, and we train them a lot. Really pleased with the clean sheet first, which it was something that we've been missing as well to win more games, and with the amount of goals scored, and sharing those goals as well, which I think is going to make a really good impact in the team.
Declan came off, it looked like he said, Hammy, is there any more you can add on that?
No, he was feeling some tightness. I don't know exactly what muscle it was, but when he says that at 3-0, obviously we don't want to take any risk. And the same with Big Gavi as well. He had some discomfort. I think he had a tackle in the first half and he was a bit struggling, so it was the right moment to take him off the field.
Jordan, I think.
Mikel, you've spoken about game state and how important that's been, kind of struggling to create chances. Was that an example today, the second half, of what 2 set-piece goals can do?
Absolutely, and as well having the ability to score from many different ways, you know, and especially when you're attacking low blocks teams like this, to score in a certain way everything has to be nailed absolutely perfectly, and when you generate things that are a bit more chaotic, sometimes it opens teams up and it's more difficult to do that. And today I think we exploited that really good because Palace had to change their behaviour, and that allowed spaces for us to exploit.
Harry, for me?
And Gabriel obviously scored the first one. I think the second's been given as an own goal, which seemed a bit unlucky, but I mean, I think that's only his second goal this season. Would you like the central defenders to get a few more. I mean, it helps, doesn't it, when a team's struggling?
Absolutely, and he's got his ability and the timing, deliveries. They've been really consistent and good as well. And there are others like Willie as well that he has this capacity of to score more goals. And yeah, we don't have a 30-40 goals on someone. We have to share them, and this is a good quality of the team.
James from Sky.
Okay, we talked about the set pieces, but how pleasing was that third goal and the way you countered so quickly, and the way Leandro took the goal too?
Yeah, the whole action, reading the space, the behavior of the front players to open up them up, and then the individual action of Gavi as well to play the ball in the right time, in the right pace in front of the defender, and then Leo is what Leo does. You know, he's so composed in the box. I think the closer he gets to the goal, the calmer he is, and I think the decision making and execution, it was top.
Kai, London.
Okay, 2 late goals there from Martinelli. You said he wasn't struggling for confidence, but how much did he need to find the back of the net?
I think that's going to make him really good. And sometimes when you are in that period, and as well, he had a little issue in the last 2 days in training, and he wasn't fully fit. That changed his momentum, and it changed the perception. It re-energized you, and I think it's a good thing.
Okay, Miguel. Yeah.
Just on the corners, the Gabriel score. George Graham was here today. His Arsenal teams were famous for those sort of goals. Have you spoken to him at all, or was?
No, I haven't had the chance to do that. No.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Johnny. Yeah.
We carried a little bit of a break now after such a hectic period. How do you use it?
Well, resting and looking after some players. At the moment, we are really short in numbers, so we really have to manage a few players, especially that play so much football. And then we have good training blocks, one to train really hard and the other ones to use them more for game preparation. So we're going to have to try to maximize that space.
Yeah, I mean, they were good set pieces, of course, but if you speak to our players, they're a little bit aggrieved. You know, they thought that there were infringements for both the goals, but we weren't lucky enough to have those infringements recognised by the referee, so we find ourselves 2-0 down. And then to compound things, of course, we really give them the game which really puts the goal that really puts the game to bed from one of our set pieces, you know, from one of our corner kicks. The corner kick wasn't long enough, and from the ball back in, straight into the goalkeeper's arms, and a quick counter attack, and suddenly we're 3-0 down. And that probably effectively ended any hope we might have had of getting back into the game. The real disappointment then is the last 2 goals, but I must take responsibility for that because players were tiring. Obviously, we thought some fresh legs, the fresh legs of the young lads, and it was too much to ask for them to go on and deal with a rampant Arsenal, and as a result, we lose the game heavily.
No supporter likes to lose a game 5-0, but it's the second time in a week that fans have showed some discontent, and they've put a banner up today during the match. Just wondering what you've made of that message and how the fans have been this week.
Well, I don't deal with the fans during the course of the week, only on match days. I think the one on Wednesday was understandable because they wouldn't have been able to understand why we took Eze off the field. You know, they just thought I was probably making a strange decision to take Eze off the field and not somebody else. But we had our reasons for that, which I've explained in some detail, and no doubt that message has got across. Today it's a different type of message. It's quite a detailed one. It's aimed at probably everybody in the club. It seemed. All I can say is I think they're totally entitled to their opinion in that respect. I do understand their frustration, even anger and disappointment that things haven't gone better. We can make our excuses, which we've been doing, because certain things have worked against us during this period of time. But the bottom line is that if we're going to go forward and avoid relegation and do well, we need those fans with us, and hopefully we can do our best to keep them on board, and we can only do that by winning 4 matches and playing better than we did today.
Sam.
Hello, Roy.
Hello, Sam.
You've been in tough situations before, and you must have every confidence that it's about experience and working your way out of it.
Yeah, I think so, Sam. I believe in the team. I mean, the fact is, at the moment we are stretched, to say the least, and furthermore, our attacking threat. You know, when you lose Elise and Ayew at the same time, is obviously blunted, and that will change when those 2 players come back. I don't think that in the last game, despite the fact we've not won them, we've been outplayed that often. We've been in games, even against the Liverpools and the Chelseas and the Brightons and the Arsenals. Today we were outplayed, in particular towards the end of the game. But up to that period, I thought the players stuck at their task. I thought they showed that they're still committed and they're still wanting to do well for the club. But of course, the result decides everything. 3-0, it wouldn't have been quite so bad. It was those last 2 goals that really bring about the doom and gloom situation, if you like, because 5-0 is a very bad defeat at any level.
Well, they certainly needed that victory, and to score the 5 and keep the clean sheet, as the manager just said, was really important. Just how big a win was that in terms of the title charge for Arsenal, do you think?
Yeah, it was massive. And it was also as well putting to bed some of the headlines around the previous games where they'd lost, created loads of chances, not taking them. But they were ruthless today, they were clinical. And of course, when you see Liverpool at the top, Manchester City come in, Spurs just behind it, Aston Villa up there, of course, you've got to keep up with these guys, you know what I mean? And games like Crystal Palace at home are struggling. These are games, if you've got aspirations of winning any title, you have to win.
Yeah, and I guess in terms of the goals, we saw 5 of them. It was a thriller in the end. Martinelli with 2 goals in stoppage time, Farah. And he didn't start the game. I think there were question marks over why he didn't start, but he certainly made an impact when he came on.
Yeah, he did, and the finishes are identical. And this is what he was so good at last year, getting beyond and coming in off the line. But the way he just takes the ball and gets his body around it, just to open up his body, to be able to pass it, you'll see it here. Really good run from out to in here. And then it's this, getting around the ball, opens up, the angle for him to then place it into the bottom corner. For a striker, this is a fantastic finish, a little bit similar to, Henry, when he used to play at Arsenal, he did this, regularly. So it was a fantastic finish, but it was his second goal that I most enjoyed. It was, the partnership, and Nketiah coming short, bringing the defender out, and then Martinelli running beyond into that space. And look, the finish again, it's identical to the first finish. He does really well, but this is Martinelli at his best when he's running beyond, getting in those positions, and passing the ball into the far corner, Darren.
Do you know, it was a masterstroke, because at first I was thinking this type of game, I thought Martinelli should have started. I thought, right, do you know what? Crystal Palace defensively, gaps everywhere, play a really high line. He's very good at running behind. But I'll tell you, it's fantastic because Leandro Trossard started ahead of him. I thought played really well. And just as Crystal Palace were getting tired, you then put on Martinelli. And as Farah said there, he comes on and scores 2 great goals.
Now, Darren, we were in the Matchday Live studio for this one with Ian Wright, and I guess you both said how important the start would be for Arsenal, and they got off to a really good start, courtesy of a towering header from Gabriel.
Yeah, he was brilliant, I thought, Gabriel, today. And again, when it comes to set plays, I know he gets up really early, and some people said it could be a foul, but he gets up so early with that hunger and desire. It's a fantastic header, and 9 times out of 10, whenever Arsenal put the ball into the box with quality, Gabriel will be there or thereabouts. He'll get the first contact or the second, and that header there, really good header, Farah.
Yeah, it is, and you spoke about it there. It's the delivery. I think the delivery allows for this to happen. I think, set plays for Arsenal haven't been great of late, and I think, the second one as well, this is the second one. The pace on the ball that comes in just allows for a touch, really good movement at the back post, but I think the delivery is both set up. The delivery is really allowed for these both goals to go in from Gabriel. I know this is classed as an own goal, but it's Gabriel that's, challenging, and as Darren said, he wants to get there first, and he does that on both occasions.
Yeah, both Gabriel's instrumental in this game in the end.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I mean, but, looking at the replay there, I feel sorry for Richards.
You a little bit.
Yeah. Richards, because Richards is marking him for the first one, and Gabriel completely bullies him and scores, and then he's trying to mark him again, and he got nowhere near him. But again, Gabriel, you put the ball into the box with quality Arsenal, they're a real threat from set plays for sure.
They are, and actually they've scored the most goals from set plays in the league. How much of a springboard could this be now to push on for 2024 and really challenge Liverpool at the top?
Yeah, it has to be. I think, the short break that they had away, change of environment, it certainly looks as if it's really helped them. It wasn't a problem for Arsenal creating the chances. What the problem was for them, in the start of the season was being clinical in front of goal. And we've seen today that they can be clinical in front of goal with those chances that have been created. So it could be they kept themselves in the title race. I think that's a good thing that Arsenal did in the first part of the season.
There was pressure on them going into this for sure after a string of defeats. Now back to winning ways. There was one negative though, because we saw as Declan Rice went off, it looks like he's mouthed hammy, which could be really problematic for Arsenal, but we don't have any more information on that.
You just hope that he's walking off there, so you're hoping it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Maybe he's felt a little something and he's gone, do you know what, just to be on the safe side, let me get off, do you know what I mean? And that's probably the clever thing to do, because he has been exceptional for Arsenal this season, and you need him fully fit. So if he's felt anything, the right decision there was to get him off straight away.
So 20 days off in Dubai for Arsenal served them well. For Crystal Palace, it was another disappointing defeat, and the fans certainly voiced their opinions, Farah, on what they saw today.
They did. Look, we've heard the interviews and Roy Hodgson talking about the fans, you know, they are allowed their opinion, but I think he's in a difficult situation. They haven't spent much money. They've had injuries to players. We've seen Eze, you know, coming back. It's like Elise and Eze are two players that Crystal Palace are heavily reliant on. When those players aren't involved in the game, it's really difficult. Elise's out and Eze's there, and he takes that responsibility on, you know, for somebody so young. He takes it on really well, and he really tries to drive the team and take the game by the scruff of the neck. But when you come up against the best, that's even more difficult. So, you know, they are in a really difficult patch, and, you know, there are rumours about, you know, do they get rid of Roy Hodgson now? Do they wait until the end of the season? If they wait any longer performing like they have, you know, they could be in a relegation battle.
It was quite sad, actually, see Hodgson having to look out across that banner, but actually the fans want to see more. They have such great players in the mix. They have flair players, yet the football is still so negative, and then the results follow that. Just the one win in 10 Premier League games, it's not good enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough, and it was sad to see Roy, because he's done so much good at that football club, and I'd hate for that to be the last thing we think about Roy Hodgson at Crystal Palace. But at some point they're going to have to be brave, they're going to have to show a bit of ambition, they're going to have to go for someone, a new up-and-coming coach, manager, and if they do make that decision, they've got to stick with it. They can't go back to Roy, and I think that's what the problem is with the supporters. When they think they're making a bit of progression, like Patrick Vieira, they panic and then go back to Roy, and it's like, well, we're just going round in a circle. At some point they're going to have to move on from Roy, and I know that's sad to say, but he's been a legend of the game. But if Crystal Palace want to develop and go forward, they're going to have to try something else.
Talk about moving on and potentially finding somebody else. We saw Graham Potter in the stands today. A potential worry for Roy Hodgson?
Potentially. I think, you know, he'd be one of a few coaches. You know, Cooper was another, you know, manager spoken about that potentially could take that job. But they're two young managers that, you know, certainly will do a good job with those young players at Crystal Palace. So it could definitely be a potential for them.
Oh, I bet Brighton fans would love that.
Yeah, I know. The vibe. What motorway is it?
M23.
Is that what it is? M23 vibe.
Having a discussion there with Steve Holland. I wonder what they were talking about. So what next for Crystal Palace then?
They've got to try find a way of putting performances in and getting results. I mean, I know they've got a lot of injuries out. Elise is a big player for them. When he's playing and Ezra are playing together, they've got a nice combination. I use away at the AFCON.
Yeah.
So they need to get some of these players back. But first and foremost, they've got to put a level of performance in, work hard, work rate, be disciplined and play together. Football that they're watching, I can understand the Crystal Palace fans' frustration because they go to Arsenal. I'm not saying they would have got anything out of it, but they didn't really lay a hand on Arsenal. Arsenal didn't have
fans want to see, Benny. They just want to see
exactly
the Palace team having a go. They don't really expect too much, especially with the players that they've got missing at the minute. But you know, for me, it was too tepid. They didn't put Arsenal under any pressure. It's a perfect game for Arsenal.
I think the disappointing thing from the Palace perspective is that they do have the players. They have the young players, the dynamic players, to actually have a go.
But they're not getting them in positions to hurt teams. I mean, we saw Eze, to be fair, I know he gave the ball away for one of the latter of Martinelli's goals, but he was probably their best player. He was the only one where he got the ball and you thought, oh, something might happen here. Other than him, everyone was running around, no one was really getting close to anyone, there was no intensity in their play. So, listen, it's a long road back for Palace, but something needs to change in that football club for sure.
Well, first of all, how great was Gabriel's laugh there, righty? He has a good laugh, doesn't he? And we ended up hearing from both Gabriels. They've both got on the score sheet today. What does a win like that do for team morale, righty?
It does a lot. You can hear Gabriel Martinelli talking about they needed a game like that. They recognise that coming off of the break, coming off of three losses, how important it is to get momentum back, get confidence back in the team. And it was comfortable and it was made comfortable because Palace were pretty poor, but they put them to the sword in respects of the way they played. Good pressing, good closing down, and, you know, in the end, very clinical finishing by him. So that would be brilliant for him in respects of his confidence and that. And all you want now is to continue with the same momentum with the next game, so as you can keep building the confidence.
That was always going to happen, because at some point, it was never going to last forever. They created these opportunities in previous games. We saw it against Liverpool in the Cup, West Ham, Fulham, and they weren't taking their chances. So the more they kept creating chances with the players that Arsenal have got, this result was always coming. And today, they were clinical, and certainly more second half than first half. But that's what it's about. And Martinelli came off the bench. I mean, it was a masterstroke from Arteta, potentially making him come off the bench. But the 2 goals he scored when he came on shows me that's a man full of confidence still. I know he maybe missed chances before that, but he was never going to miss those 2 opportunities.
And when you get someone like Martinelli with that much space, and that's what you saw it in the first half, Benny, when you mentioned the line was so high, I was very surprised he didn't start. So I'm quite pleased that he came on and made the impact he did.
OK. Oh, actually, now you've mentioned it, let's actually see the Martinelli goals, both in stoppage-inspired substitution from the manager.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Eddie Nketiah, another inspired substitution, but great timing of the pass, great run. And once he gets into this position, I'm always so confident he always scores because he's so calm in that position, coming onto it, that side foot into the far corner. But it's the timing of the run and the pace. Like, he just slows him down a bit and then goes, accelerates in behind. They're so square, Palace.
Yeah.
But once he gets in there, he's got his head down. And it's a really good finish right here.
It's a very good finish because the goalkeeper knows he's opening his body to do that. So it's very, very accurate. You know, it's brilliant. Superb.
Yeah, and you can just tell, I mean, that sort of a goal at that time just lifted the fans even more.
Yeah.
And then came the second goal, right?
Well, again, you know, Palace by now all over the place. Midfielder's nowhere near it. You look at them now, look at how much space he's got in there. Look, you see him there, so much time. Jorginho, defender, where's he going? He's going forward when they haven't even got possession of the ball. And then can he finish? Yeah, he can. So, again, you've got to take advantage of when teams are playing as poorly as someone like Palace are. And what Arsenal can show you is, like Darren rightly said, is that, you know, you can really punish these teams, you know, because they're playing so poorly. And Arsenal, because they were missing chances, it's an opportunity for them to show they can take them, and they did.
And what we've seen from Arsenal, I think, in recent weeks, and we've watched a lot of Arsenal in this Matchday Live studio, is that when they have lost games, they've actually started off really well. We even saw it in the FA Cup game against Liverpool. They started really well, but they haven't been able to convert their chances. So it's one thing Palace not playing well, but it's another thing Arsenal actually making the most of the chances that they've had.
And that's the thing, the last few performances from Arsenal, you probably would have seen similar scorelines, but the fact is they didn't take their chances. The longer the game went on, the more and more pressure built. The opposition scored, and Arsenal have always clawing to get themselves back into the game. But they score after 11 minutes today. Everyone just goes, whoosh, takes a breath, and then the football starts to come out naturally. I know Crystal Palace were poor, but certainly second half, when Palace were tired, that's when Arsenal showed their real quality. And as I said, Martinelli coming off the bench, 2 really good goals.
And how important was that goal so early on in the 11th minute, as Benty said?
Well, it's vitally important simply because, you know, it's like they said about the set pieces, very good at set piece coach, does a lot of work, and what you want to take advantage of these situations. You've got a great ball in, you've got somebody who's really willing to attack it, and you get that goal and it settles you down, because I'm sure they would have been thinking Palace are going to come and they're going to frustrate us, they're going to play 5 at the back, 2 in front, but we thought it was going to be 5 at the back, it was going to be very stoic. You would have had the 2 in front, it was going to not move and make it very hard for Arsenal who've struggled, but they didn't. You know, the 2 very, very good balls in, and to be honest, it was a mismatch with Richards, I think it was, and, you know, he just couldn't stop him. His movement is too strong, you know, the ball's very accurate, goalkeepers all over the place. You get 2 goals like this as well when you've been struggling to score. It really does help you as well with confidence, because then that kind of gives you the confidence to go and play and try to break a Palace side open who are not closing you down tight enough. And then you've got someone who could come on like Gabriel Martinelli, who's got the pace to go beyond such a high line. You're really asking for trouble if you're Palace.
And there you go, both set-piece goals. That means Arsenal are top of the table when it comes to goals from set pieces this season, Darren.
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously clearly worked on it as well. But again, I think to be successful when it comes to set plays and corners, you've got to have people and players who are prepared to go and put their head on it. It's all well and good you having the best delivery, but players have got to really want to get their head on it. And when you look at Gabriel, every single time there's a set play, he either gets the first contact where he maybe doesn't score, but he flicks it on, but he's always there or thereabouts. And listen, again, 2 good goals. I know the second one wasn't credited to him, but still, he was involved in both and really, really good from set plays.
He was. What about the third goal from Leandro Trossard? Because that one came on the counter-attack, didn't it, Righty?
Magnificent. Again, you know, you have to say with the distribution for the goalkeeper was fantastic, but Palace are they're just bare, you know, with the goal. But this is what we saw just before, is something that Mikel obviously wanted him to do. This was so unlucky in respect of the way, you know, he got there and it's brilliantly worked and that, but he couldn't sort his feet out. We showed that in the start. But with this one, you'd say, this is the one I'm talking about with Palace. Look, they've got 1 man there. So if you've got runners now and you've got a goalkeeper that's on the ball, bam, you're in trouble. Palace were, you know, this is what's going to happen to you. It's a fantastic pass, great composure from Trossard and super finish. You can see how happy the manager is with the goalkeeper because, like I said before, he tried it with the clearance, but this one was perfect. But Palace all over the place here. And this is what should happen to them. You know, you should be punished like this because that's poor, because that is what Arsenal want to do. But that pass here, is absolutely perfect from Jesus. And then the finish with composure is fantastic.
Really
Perfect.
composed.
Yeah.
As Wright said, that the first one was the warning, but that one there from David Raya, the throw to Gabriel Jesus was fantastic. But even in Arteta's celebration, a lot had been spoke about, well, it has been since David Raya got there, about the goalkeeper situation.
Yeah.
Has he caused this problem? It almost looked like to me that celebration was like validation, like, see, that's why I put him in, obviously making a point to go that end and go, like, congratulations, you, that was because of you. So, listen, great play from David Raya again. His distribution today I thought was outstanding.
Yeah, and a big clean sheet as well.
Yeah, well, of course, you want to keep clean sheets. It does matter at the end of the season, especially as tight as you can see this Premier League's going at the moment. So, yeah, you know, there's a lot of talk about David Raya and what's going on, but at the same time, you know, he's doing well. He's doing okay. He's doing very well.
Well, it's just the third time that Roy Hodgson has lost by 5 goals or more in his managerial career of over 500 games. OK, we're going to head straight back to the ground and actually get some Arsenal perspective on this. Leandro Trossard, who joins us live. Hello, Leandro. Thank you very much for joining us. And tell us, how did it feel? That victory must have felt good.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great way to start again in the league, and that's what we worked for the last 2 weeks. And yeah, it's really nice to score 5 goals and get a clean sheet, of course.
Leandro, I was just wanting to say that the break what you had, it came at the perfect time. What was the mood like with the camp? Obviously losing the 3 games, a game like Palace, when you come back at home, did you feel the pressure of having to win this game?
Yeah, obviously you always feel pressure here because we are such a big club, but still after those results we always believe in our qualities, and I think we had such a good week in Dubai at training camp, and I felt like we were all fresh to start this game, and I think you could tell as well from the start we were really hungry to win this game and score also a couple of goals, and we succeeded, and it's really nice to win this game in that way.
Yeah, and that hunger and desire really showed today, Leandro. You mentioned obviously going to Dubai. You've had your last Premier League game about 20 days ago. What is it that you were working on in Dubai exactly?
A bit of everything, to be honest. Yeah, I think, like I said, we wanted to score a couple of goals, and we worked on that as well at the attacking patterns and in general. And yeah, it's nice that it pulled off today, and yeah, we enjoyed it a lot.
It was great to see on the score sheet. Was you happy with your goal? Obviously, you're happy with your goal, but you know, to come into the side, you know, a team that, you know, there's a lot of competition for places. Was you happy with the way it worked out for you?
Yeah, of course. It's always nice to score as an attacking player, and I think it's a great team goal. It doesn't take long from David to get the ball to me, I think. But yeah, it's always nice to be on the score sheet and to help your team to get a win, obviously.
Leandro, you've got 4 goals and 7 assists at the Emirates. You clearly like playing in front of that home support.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's always nice to play at the Emirates in front of your home fans, and that's why it's always great to give something back to them. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
OK, well, thank you very much for your time and for joining us. Congratulations on the win and good luck in the next one against Forest. Well, you can see, we've heard from both Gabriels, we've heard from Trossard as well. You can just see how much this victory has lifted those players.
Of course, because they would have heard all the noise about Arsenal struggling in front of goal, losing 3 on the bounce, and it would have been hurting them, because as he said there, Arsenal are a massive football club. They've got aspirations of winning the titles, and they know they've let opportunities slip leading up to this game. But today, I thought it was a fantastic performance in the end, and he played his part in that as well.
And Righty, going back to what you said at the start, you said no need to panic, no need to panic, and you were right.
Absolutely, because like we showed, they're making chances. And again, you have to stress how poor Palace were, and they took full advantage. But you just beat what's in front of you, and you just want to get confidence and momentum from it. They've got a couple of good games coming up now, and they just want to make sure that they double down on this result and go again and again to make people see that they're very much in this.
How do they maintain this sort of level and this sort of standard and this level of confidence? Because not only do they have Forest next, which, you know, there's never an easy game in the Premier League, but then they do play Liverpool at home, and that'll be a big one.
They had a different attitude the way they played today. And again, you can't excuse the fact that Palace weren't tight on them, but they played with a lot more pace about their game. They looked a lot more ruthless about it. The set pieces were very much on the button. And in the end, you know, obviously if Palace are not going to get tight enough, you've got players who will turn you and will pass the ball. If you're going to have a line that high, you will get punished. All that will do for the Arsenal players is make them even more confident about the chances that they're going to get now. So don't feel the pressure on, we need to score because we haven't scored. you know, they'll just get on with it. They looked a lot calmer when that's what that result done for them.
Yeah, and we've seen the top of the table as well for Arsenal. They're only, 2 points off of Liverpool. So they've put the pressure on Liverpool ahead of their game tomorrow.
Exactly, and as you said, they put the pressure on. There's no need to panic. They've been creating the opportunities. They've taken them. Moving forward now, that will give them all massive confidence.
It will indeed. Well, I have a very happy camp in the studio. Thank you for your company, Darren. Very disappointed and deflated Mark Gurhey there. You can see the last 10 Premier League results. Only 1 win in their last 10. And you would expect more from this Palace side, given the amount of talent that they have in the mix. What does it come down to, Darren?
I mean, it's difficult because Roy Hodgson knows exactly what he's doing. He's been around for a long, long time. He's been at this football club for a long, long time. I think desire is one thing, tactics as well. I mean, Mark Gahey in there, he spoke about they turned up with a game plan, which was to kind of frustrate Arsenal sitting. I didn't see that from Crystal Palace at all today. They were way too easy. If that's what they planned on doing before they got to the Emirates, I didn't see that. There was no togetherness, there was gaps everywhere. Arsenal could play through them. And as I said, first half, I don't think Arsenal were that good. They were better, but they weren't like the free-flowing Arsenal we saw certainly second half. So, listen, they've got to get back on that training pitch and find a way of getting results, because at the minute, they're in free-for-all.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Righty, as we were talking about the match and even at half-time, it's just too negative from them. But that comes from the manager, does it not? Well,
you know, you can't really blame Roy Hodgson too much in this situation, because the reason why they're probably in this league is because Roy Hodgson on a couple of occasions has come back and saved them. You know, you just feel like, with the injuries, with the players that's missing, it just feels like it feels a little bit tired. It feels a little bit stale, and you can. Like what Benty said there, we're talking about a team that's coming with a plan, but I didn't see it. There wasn't enough energy in a team like Palace to try and stop them. They weren't going at it with real intensity to stop Arsenal, to take Arsenal's confidence away. Nothing. Arsenal just continued to build confidence because they had space and time in all aspects of that game. So they don't seem to have the energy at the moment to get it on the training pitch to work towards the plan.
Bukayo Saka just coming out to join us now. Good to see you.
Well done. Thank you. Winning ways.
Congratulations, Bukayo, a big win. Firstly, just how important was that early goal today, do you think, to settle a few nerves amongst the players and in the crowd after the run you've been on?
Yeah, I think it's really important. First things first, obviously, to win today, the 3 points. But like you said, that early goal from Big Gabby was really nice for us. It sort of calmed us, and then we could control the game more and then go for the second and third. And I thought he was going to get a hat-trick at one point.
You guys, we've been talking last season, goals and chances were coming by and they're bucket loads for you guys. It seemed easy for you guys. This season, it's been a bit more difficult. How have you guys been dealing with that, and how have you gone about changing that, especially going to Dubai?
Yeah, Dubai was really nice for us. It was nice to have that break. Obviously, we weren't in the best form before that. In Dubai, we just refreshed and worked on the things that we need to work on, sharpen all our tools. And I think with the goals, we all know we can score goals. We all believe in ourselves. And, we saw that today. We scored 5, so we're happy with the performance.
How much did you personally need that break? You've played so much football, just for you to have a chance to recharge and rest.
Yeah, I needed it. I'll be honest, I needed it. It was nice.
Are you fired up now? Ready to go? Was that enough of a break? Because it hurts when you start falling away from the top of the table. A lot of people criticising going out of the FA Cup, which was something you won, didn't you, at the start of your career?
Yeah.
So where are you now? Are you ready to go for it now? Do you feel Arsenal can do something better than they did last season?
Yeah, I actually believe it. And like I said, the break came at the right time. I think we're all refreshed now mentally and physically, and we're all hungry to push strong to the end of the season, and you saw that in the performance today. So hopefully you can continue like this the next game and the next game.
It's interesting. Like, I've been a part of Arsenal teams that have had lots of failures, and it's from that, I think, often that you kind of get that strength to say, do you know, this can't happen again.
Yeah.
We're gonna. Is that feeling there?
Or
now?
Learnings, Martin, not failures.
No, but are you developing that now? Like, okay, I've had enough of this. I want to see some trophies.
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously, like you said, that going out of the FA Cup really hurt me. And I'm sure it hurt all the boys and the fans as well. So I think we'll use that hunger to really push in the Premier League and the Champions League when it comes next month as well.
But okay, what have you found different this season personally? I mean, everyone knows your name now. You was a bit of a surprise when you first come into the team. Now you're established. What pictures are you seeing different that you're having to kind of adjust your game maybe to now that you've become a more experienced player?
I think every game, it's like we're coming against a low block. not every game, but most games. And for myself out wide, I find there's a lot of players. You know, there's less and less space. You know,
2v1s more.
2v1s, yeah. I found that a lot this season, but
People more physical on you as well.
Yeah, I
Robinson,
think
Fulham.
Yeah, it's always been like that though. I feel like the Premier League is just a really physical league, but when you have 3 big physical guys around you, it's not easy. It's just about me just studying it, trying to find a solution, find a space, whether it's dribbling, whether it's passing. And yeah, it hasn't been easy, I'll be honest, but you know, I'm still trying, and I think we're still doing well as a team because it's not just about me. You know, there's other players. If there's 3 players in my position, I know that someone on the other side is free or someone behind me is free. So if it's not helping me, it's helping someone else as well.
Good.
And you're the league leaders in terms of set-piece goals, goals from corners as well. Just how much work is going into those behind the scenes?
Yeah, we do a lot of work.
It's boring, isn't it? I get bored of
It's the
that,
worst, it's the worst. But Nico, he's our set-piece coach. He knows, and he tries to make it fun. He tries to make it easy for us.
Is he having
and
himself,
simple.
though? Is he having himself? Is he what do you
He
think?
should be, though. She said we're #1, so if he is having himself, then I don't know.
He's got to enjoy it, hasn't he?
He's got to enjoy it because we're doing well and what he's doing is working, so we need to continue that.
It certainly is.
It shows you how important set pieces are. I mean, I'm the same as what you're saying there. I used to find it so boring doing set pieces, but they're so vital.
Yeah.
And if you're going to win trophies, set pieces defensively, but also on the
Detail,
attacking
isn't it?
side. Yeah, you've
People
got to be
doing their
really-
jobs, role and responsibilities, and it looked like it was really tied in today.
Yeah, it was, and obviously we went out the FA Cup mostly on a set piece. That was the first goal we conceded, so you know we wanted to put it right today with a clean sheet, and we scored 2, so we're happy.
And it was Declan with the corner for the first goal. Do you think we're going to see him take more going forward? Is that something you've been working on? Because that was just his
I don't
fourth
know.
this season.
You're going to have to ask Nico. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But you know, with that delivery and the quality Dec has, I can't see why not.
Can you send Nico out, please, when you go in?
Okay, I'll call him.
Bukayo, you've got another 10 days before your next game. How important was that win just to really change the mood and not go into that second break, I guess, with more disappointment?
Yeah, so I think obviously everyone knows we lost the last 3 games, and this game was so important for us, for the fans, and just to build that momentum again. And you know, we got the 3 points, so we're happy, and yeah, we can have the next 10 days to rest a bit and then refocus on Forest because we need to win there again.
Maybe we should fly out somewhere else and do it all again. Hey.
Yeah, we asked the boss. We asked the boss if we can go to Dubai again.
Is it still the same? If you win, you can ask him and see what can happen. You think we get away or not?
No, I don't know. We're gonna ask him now, but.
After a 5-0 win, he might be open to it. Just very quickly, though, you're 2 points behind Liverpool now. Do you prefer being the chasers? Do you think it kind of suits you?
Got no choice, have they, at the moment?
You want to be at the top, man. I don't care. You want
What did you prefer? To be at the top?
To be at the top,
Yeah.
people looking down on people. Chase us, come on.
When you look at the league, I think you want to be first, no?
Yeah.
I don't really want to be 4th or 6th or 3rd. I think I want to be first. That's just me personally.
I love that.
Thank
Keep
you
believing.
very
Keep
much
believing.
for coming out to join us.
Thank you so much.
Bukayo.
Thank you.
Cheers. Is there something in that, though, being the chaser, keeping that pressure on? Do you think it could suit this group
No,
because
I
of the
don't-
experience that City have got over the last few seasons?
No, I mean, last season they were the team, they were the front runners, and they got caught, obviously. But you're playing against a well-experienced team in Manchester City. I always thought you want to be the team ahead. You only don't want to be the team ahead is when your momentum goes. If your momentum goes, doesn't matter if you're chasing or ahead, it doesn't matter. But you want the points on the board and in the bag. That's always been the way that I've looked at it.
I think wherever you find yourself, you've got to be able to handle it. You know, if you're being chased, you've just got to concentrate, focus on your games. But if you're going after someone and there's a momentum and they start to slip up, it's a lovely feeling. I remember doing it in 97, 98. They were virtually handing out the trophy to Manchester United, bookies paying out. And Arsenal, 13 points behind, just started winding them in.
Well done,
playing
Martin.
against-
Well done, Martin.
So it was
Well
done. But
Well done.
conversely, in 2003, they caught us and took
not
us.
about
And it
you.
wasn't a nice feeling. We're just going to have to look at personal experiences.
Brilliant. He said he really needed that break, Bukayo Saka, as well, him personally. How much do you think he needed it? Because he hasn't been quite his best, has he, the last couple of months? But it's understandable, really.
I think he's probably getting a bit stale, finding it difficult. He feels the responsibility, so much goes through him, and the teams were stopping him from progressing. So probably a little break was really good for him. He's just a young man, isn't he? And carrying a lot of pressure. I think the variation to Arsenal's play would be nice. You know, like he's got to try and find solutions, but I'd like to see a little bit more the fullback getting around him rather than inside of him, getting outside of him, so it gives him a bit more space. But nonetheless, he's an outstanding talent, and I think he'll return to his form I don't think he's quite at the top yet, but with that rest, it will certainly help.
Absolutely.
Delighted to be able to report that it's a perfect day weather-wise. Derek Ray here on the commentary box, joined as always by former Arsenal and England fullback Lee Dixon. And every reason to believe we're in for an entertaining match here. It's Arsenal, and they face Fleetwood Town.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. All that work in the week, all that chat in the dressing room, all that stops now. It's put your game face on.
Oh, what an opportunity! Surely! Textbook defending inside the box. Here are the starters for Arsenal. Bernd Leno is the goalkeeper. Thomas Partey starts with Granit Xhaka in the centre of the pitch. And the starting role in attack is handed to Alex Lacazette. Vassell. Granit Xhaka. Strong but fair tackle. Well, you know, I don't think the goalkeeper will be the slightest bit bothered by that effort.
Well, he won't want to watch that on the replay, I tell you. He was way wide there.
Well, it's always a tantalising prospect watching Martin Ødegaard close up. Lee, and in with a real chance. Lacazette! A truly magnificent start. An early goal in the game, just what they were hoping to produce.
Well, here's the replay, and what a ball that is to put him through. And then through on goal, you never really had any doubt he was going to slot that away. Good finish.
Well, let's have another view of that goal. One-0 then. They've given it away. Lacazette. In it goes! 2 goals in rapid-fire fashion and looking very comfortable here.
Well, here it is again. You're trained from a young age to get in those sort of positions, and never in any real doubt he'd finish that. Cool and composed.
Slightly different vantage point in terms of the goal that was scored.